The usually quiet shoreline of Lake Ontario at Somerset now echoes with the sound of heavy construction. The biggest construction project in western New York, one that few people are even aware of. Cost, $1,072 million. 1,500 construction workers are on the site. That number will hit 2,000 in summer. 4.5 years of construction work will end in October 1984, when this coal-powered plant begins to generate electricity for the New York State Electric and Gas Corporation.
This plant that you're looking at will be able to produce 625 megawatts of energy. Now that would light 6,250,000 100-watt light bulbs, if you would. So it's a larger size coal plant than most in New York State, than we have in our facility, for example. It's the single largest endeavor that NYSEG has ever undertaken in its entire business operating career. So,
is it going to produce electricity for the customers much cheaper than, let's say, oil or gas or even nuclear?
Yes, the coal production is our entire system. Our background is coal. So in the study for this plant and what we were looking for in generation, a lot of factors were taken into consideration, and we will be burning eastern bituminous coal from sources in most likely western Pennsylvania at this time. That coal will produce an energy cost for us that will be very competitive in the market. We can then displace energy in New York State by having maybe some oil generation in the state to be turned off or scaled down, and energy from this station will be replacing it. So the cost of this energy will be very competitive in that market.
The plant's appetite for coal will be enormous, 1.5 million tons a year, brought in by 100 car trains arriving 4 times a week, all to service a huge boiler that will drive the main turbine. Coal silos will feed the coal into pulverizers that will grind the coal into the consistency of talcum powder. The main plant building is a maze of pipe, condensers, pumps, and boiler-related equipment. Once online, computers will control most operations of the plant and monitor and record data. Over 30% of the cost of building the plant relates to protection of the environment.
This will be the cleanest power plant in New York State and probably in the nation the time we're complete. We will be removing sulfur dioxide from our stack gases, the rotten egg kind of smell. We also will be taking out over 99% of all the little particulates, or the soot or smoke people would call it, so that out of our chimney will rise gases which will not be able to be detected by the naked eye. So from the standpoint of the impact on the environment, we will spend about 1/3 of the total cost of this plant on just those kind of protections.
Acid rain is always a concern, particularly when we consider the Adirondacks, Ontario. How will this plant impact in that area?
Well, if all coal-burning plants are proved to be the contributor, and that study is not conclusive yet, we still are analyzing to understand the complexity of acid rain. But if power plants were the contributor, then this plant, because of the reduction in the amounts of nitrous oxide and sulfur dioxide, we will be a 100th of a decimal place of contributing factor as opposed to a plant without the kind of treatment facilities we have on site. Besides our coal-burning plant producing electrical energy, we do run these other or sub-plants, if you would, to support the operation, to clean up the gases before they get in the environment. And all those things factored together, we would be a very, very, very almost undetectable source in the environment in that case.
The plant will depend on Lake Ontario when it's operational, drawing in water that will pick up heat from the power generating process and returning warmer water. The lake's aquatic ecosystem will be monitored to determine any impacts.
Water coming out of the lake picks up about 35 degrees and then is released through what we would call high-velocity diffusers. In the lake, then, the water will be dispersed at a level in the lake about 25 feet below the surface, so we're not down into the thermal areas of the lake which are necessary for various kinds of fish to support their life. What we do know will happen is that we'll create one of the best fishing spots in this end of the country, right out here, because of that warm water discharge. A lot of fish will be spawning there, will be feeding through the winter months and growing larger as a result of the warmer area. So Niagara County has indicated in public meetings that in the fishing industry that they look forward to this coming online, because it will produce one of the most exciting sports fishing industry facilities in all of this end of the country.
How will this energy cost coming from this plant impact on western New York?
Well, it will impact on western New York because what it'll do is, in the NYSEG system, will allow our customers to have a situation where their rates will not rise as rapidly as the rates of other utilities. We will have in place and paid for a facility that will be able to produce a very large block of energy. So we're not saying that rate increases won't occur in the future, but we are saying that with this plan online that we'll be able to reduce the size of the increases that may come along depending on other factors in the economy at that time.